For the past 3 weeks, we've been digging deeper into the understanding of leadership from the perspective of faith. A good summary of where we've been is from the perspective of faith, leadership is characterized in one who first serves. One who makes the choice to serve rather than being served. Now, clearly, for those of us who follow Jesus, we see that in the life and teachings of Jesus. And he said and acted in so many ways that I'm here to serve, not to be served. You see, one who seeks to be served is a self-serving leader, not a leader motivated by faith. For a leader that is motivated by faith serves first. Now, we're going to look at some characteristics that Robert Greenleaf, the author that I've referred to several times, authored the book Servant Leadership. He has identified several characteristics of those who first serve. And we're going to look at some of those in the next few weeks. But let's remember, those who follow Jesus is important in our work together. In one of Greenleaf's seminars, we were sitting there and a person asked the question, I want to be a leader. What must I do to be a leader? And Greenleaf casually responded with the simple response, choose to serve others. That's all he said in answer to the question, what must I do to be a leader? That's leadership from the perspective of faith. Choose to serve others. Now, one who is a leader in terms of serving first, their life is composed of a series of choices on what the indigenous Indians and then say in their translation of the New Testament that they refer to the good road of servanthood. And one of the characteristics of being a servant, according to Greenleaf, of walking the good road of servanthood is foresight. You know, foresight is rooted in the messages of the preachers in the Hebrew Bible. These preachers lived and led with one foot in the now and the other foot anchored in the future. They always looked down the road which would be formed as a consequence of what was said and done today. Isaiah is the clearest example of foresight. It's a collection of 3 messages delivered to the Hebrew people at 3 different periods of history. All 3 messages by a preacher who made no bones about the present unfaithfulness of the Hebrew people. One foot anchored in the here and now, but also made no bones about what could be and was yet to come. Because what was yet to come was a people whose goal was not to be a nation, not to have a temple in which Yahweh resided, But Isaiah said the future is that we are a people scattered among many nations who exist to serve others. And his words was, a bruised reed we will not break, and a dimly burning wick we will not quench. One foot in that kind of a future, the other foot clearly in the present. We aren't there now, but we can be there in the future. Now, there are many gifts which emerge from this characteristic of foresight. One gift in the here and now is that there's no room for pretense, pretending that things are different than they really are. Pretense comes in a lot of forms. Pretense is trying to keep up with the Joneses, or the Assyrians, or the Babylonians, but keeping up with the Joneses. Indeed, pretense is bowing to peer pressure. Pretense is refusing to accept the truth of history. Pretense is practicing selective memory. All these are illustrations of the fraudulent nature of pretense. And one of the gifts of foresight is that there's no room for pretense. You tell it the way it is. Another gift of foresight is that you're motivated by where you are headed on the good road instead of being motivated by where one has been. To be motivated by where one has been means that life is running away from our past. This life has no purpose or goal and becomes a journey in the wilderness. But to be motivated by where one is headed is the good road of the great commandment, the Beatitudes, the good road of justice, the good road of peace on earth. Allah, being a servant of others, is the future. Not running away from who we've been, but running towards who we can be. Another gift is the gift of hope, offered by John of Patmos in the most misunderstood book in the Christian library, the book of Revelation. The author had one foot in the here and now. 666, the numerical code word for Neron Caesar, the emperor who claimed to be divine and whose will was to exterminate the Hebrew people. 1 foot solidly in the present, they were being persecuted, but also 1 foot in the future, a new Jerusalem, a world where peace would reign. Oh, wow. What a set of gifts emerging from the ethic of foresight. No pretense, motivated to walk the good road and hope for a new world of peace on earth among all. What does foresight look like today? Well, first, the recent memory of 60 years ago when Martin Luther proclaimed, "I have a dream." He had 1 foot in the here and now. Injustice reigned. He was crucified on the balcony of a motel. The other foot of Martin Luther King was always in the future. The dream of justice, humility, and forgiveness. Indeed, in Martin Luther King's speech, I Have a Dream, foresight was the name of his game. But more recently, the memory of a 15-year-old from Sweden, Greta Thunberg is her name, 1 foot in the here and now, making no bones about the universal agreement that humans have a right to destroy the environment, destroy the planet Earth, but also 1 foot in the future, that the new generation led by the children of today will love the planet Earth and will work to restore, renew, and cooperate with the natural order rather than destroying it. Indeed, Greta Thunberg had a global audience when she spoke, and she's still working 10 years later with the same foresight. With 1 foot in the here and now, we're not doing what we ought to be doing with our home, the planet Earth, but 1 foot in the future saying, we're going to change that, and we're going to love this place where we live. But more recent, the memory of last week in Winfield, where over 200 meals were served free to those who are hungry and alone. 1 foot in the here and now. No pretense. We live in a world where our neighbors are hungry throughout the world and next door. And 1 foot in the future, that those who possess the least must be invited to the feast of those with abundance. Wasn't that the story of Jesus? You see, foresight is the real name of grab and go. Yeah, foresight is a characteristic of being a servant. Serving the common good, walking the good road, committed to where we're headed, not running away from where we've been. You know, foresight requires no crown, no private office, no gavel, no executive chair or desk. All it requires are just those who choose to serve by being persons governed by foresight. A life without pretense. A life motivated by where one is headed, not where one has been, and experiencing hope, not despair. Let me repeat. Foresight is composed of those who choose to serve by being governed by 1 foot in the present, 1 foot in the future, experiencing the gifts of life without pretense, motivated by where we're going, not where we've been, not running from where we've been, and experiencing hope, not despair. For your thought and conversation, what are your personal experiences or observation of others being trapped in hindsight, trying to drive by looking in the rear view mirror? And what are your personal experiences or observations of others being motivated by a dream of a new future, even against all odds. Thank you for being on the journey with us.